Hi. So, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the program so you can understand it. It's really not that hard. I'm gonna write down a little bit about for example, the hotkeys or something so that I can make you a list. Um, because those, for starters, when you start, can be maybe a little bit confusing at first, but when you start doing it over and over again, you're gonna get it pretty quick. Anyway, so this is the program, as I was saying, and you know the program. And I put my media right here in this corner because I like to have them right here. Actually, I could make it a little smaller. I don't need it that big. And I have the source, so basically my trimmer right here, and the effect controls here together, right next to each other. You can move the stuff around if you need it. For example, I don't know, like let's say that you want the effects up here, you can move them, but I like the stuff right here. To move them, you just grab them and drag them around. Anyway, so you have your stuff right here. The easiest way is to just drag the media to this window. Let's say that I want, I don't know, this movie there. I grab it, I drag it, and I leave it right here. And it stays here. Since I had put the movie in already, it didn't create anything. This program creates an image, an audio and video image on your disk, on your computer, in order to make the audio, the flow a little bit faster, so that it doesn't have to create, so it doesn't have to use the actual things itself and become heavy. The program doesn't have to become so heavy and use all the little things. Anyway, the thing is, I gave the program a different path to create a different location to create this thing, and I gave an external hard drive, a 1 terabyte external hard drive, and I gave the location G because that's where the thing is. And that's because when you use lots and lots of movies, it creates, like, maybe if you have like I don't know, like you use 100 movies with that are 2 or 3 gigabytes each, it creates 100 images. Actually no, 200 images, because it does audio and video of 2 or 3 gigabytes each, so it kind of gets a lot. So I generally I dedicated a thing to that because I use it a lot. So I think the default location is a D. It's a D space. And you should check that and clean it after your project's done, because basically that's when you're done, it's just junk. And even if you delete it, nothing bad happens. The program creates it again when, in case you put it another time, so nothing bad happens if you delete it. If you need help in that, I can help you. Anyway, so let's say, for example, that I want to use a movie that I didn't use before, which is like, I don't know, this one. No, this one, no, it's terrible, I don't want it. Let's say this one. So I'm gonna put this and drag it right here, and it's doing the thing. It's creating the image in the disk. So now the only thing that I miss is the music. Let's use this, which is something that I already have, so I don't need to create an image, and everything is faster. Okay, so sequence. The sequence is your timeline basically, because right now you don't have anything right here. So you have like tons of ways to create a sequence. You can right click here, new item, and sequence, which is generally something I don't like, but you can do it. You can just go like Ari and get a cinema mode with whatever frame you want. But I'm not a fan of this because, I don't know, let's say that you want it not, I don't know, well, whatever you're comfortable with basically, but there are tons of formats. I never know which one to choose, and so I generally grab either the song if I want it. Generally when you grab the song and drag it on the timeline, it creates a normal 16:9 sequence that can be either 1080p or 720, but you can change it. I'm gonna show you that in a second. Otherwise you can grab a movie. Let's say that you want it in this format. I'm gonna show you if my computer helps me out. Okay, let's say that you want it in this format, which is not 16:9, but it's, I don't know what the fuck of a format is this, but it's longer. It's you know. So to have this settings, this thing is this 1920 and 800. Anyway, let's say that you want this format for your video. You just grab the movie and you drag it in your timeline. And whenever my computer is ready, it's gonna create, there we go. It's gonna create a timeline, a sequence with a timeline. You see that right here, it created a sequence. And if you go and check, right clicking on this thing and go to sequence settings, you're gonna see that it created a sequence with those settings, the ones from the movie, if you wanted those. So see right here. Then you just delete the movie, because I don't think you're gonna use the full movie. And you're ready to basically work right here. Otherwise, you just delete this thing. And you can use the song. You just drag the song. And right now it's on default. Amazing. That's good, because this way I'm going to show you how to change it. Again, right click and sequence settings, and now it's on default with this thing. But we're going to change it manually and put 1080 right here, because we want it in 1080. This thing is fine, all of the rest is fine, and it became a normal 16:9. I think for now, that's the basics. And we have our song right here. It's all small, so we go on this little thingy, little button right here, the timeline display setting. You click it, expand all tracks, and it's bigger. In case you have the tracks, I think it's, no, wait. I think it's this one, because I don't remember how to do that anymore. I think it was yeah. In case you have them this way, which was extremely annoying to me, and I hated it. In case you have them this way, you go on these 3 lines, and you take away the little thing from the rectified audio waveform form. Yeah, and you're fixed. Now, what else? Let's say that you want a clip from this media, like a scene. Okay, I want a scene from this movie, like this. I don't know. I want this scene because I like it, because I want to use it. Whatever. Okay. So, to select it, you either press on this button for the start, or you press the key I. So, wait, I'm gonna write it down. Key I. So, I, that's the start of your clip. Then I'm like, okay, I want to go and get, that's my end. And the key is O. And that's the end of it. So I selected my scene. And let's say that I want both audio and the video. So I'm just gonna just click wherever in this, in the picture. I'm clicking and dragging it all the way on my timeline. And since this movie right here, the Ghost in the Shell movie, it has a 6 audio track, as you can see right here in the mixer. If you see here, it has 6 audio tracks. If I play it, it's gonna show you 6 audio tracks playing. But this audio is a 2-channel audio. So when I dragged it down, it created an extra audio track right here with a 5.1 audio track. By the way, to zoom in or out of your timeline, it's Alt and the rolling thing on your mouse. If you don't have the rolling thing on your mouse, it's either plus or minus on the keyboard, or this thing. This. See? Okay. So, zooming in, you see that this thing has all the audio. Okay? To extract one audio channel from the 6, you right click or Shift G, and this thing, wait, you right click and go to audio channels, and that's the same thing. It's Shift plus G. It's audio channels. I'm writing them down. Anyway, the audio channels are right here. Generally, the central one, the C1, is the one for the people talking. So I generally keep that one. And here we are. You have this one, the main one. Actually, I'm gonna silence the song a second, and if you actually play it, it didn't silence the song. Why didn't you silence the song? Bloody fuck. I know. Sorry, this one is solo, actually. Good job. I muted the track right now. Okay, something else. This is for muting the track, and this is for playing just this track. I'm very intelligent. Anyway. So now I have this audio only. Anyway, this is not a great example because they're not talking, but let's see. If I actually kept the other channels, you would hear the difference. Let's see. So I'm keeping the other audio channels. I'm actually, let's see if you can hear it better. So the whole thing sounds like this. With background, and like taking the rest out, you're just cleaning out in this case. Well, here there's mostly the guy grunting, but that's not a great example. But you're cleaning out the audio basically. And you do it with right click, audio channels, or Shift and G. Shift G, and you get the modify thing. If you want to audio gain, it's right click and audio gain, or just G. I think that's a default thing. Otherwise, I think, well, whatever. Something else. Let's say that I get a super huge clip like this and this. That's gigantic. See, that's huge. I want to cut it. I want only a small section, like only this. So you get the cut tool, and you either click this button right here and see that the cursor is not the arrow anymore, but it's a razor, or you press C and that happens. So the arrow is not an arrow anymore, it's a razor. And you can cut the clip right here. Then you move, actually, no, not anywhere, you just get it from up here. You move your cursor things here. And you cut it again. And to move back to your arrow, you press V, and you're back. And let's say that you want, I don't know, let's say that you want this as well, this. Let's go back to C. You press from V to C again. You want this. You move it till, I don't know, I want it till here. And you cut it again. And you're back to V. This stuff, you don't want it, you select it, delete. And this stuff, I don't want it, delete. And now you're left with this clip that you're like, I want this one, and this clip, and you want this one. Okay. And you can move them together and do whatever you like. Why aren't you doing that? I was thinking something. Anyway, so now that you're left with this, you can, what can you do? You can put effects like dissolves on them, for example, those. All the dissolves are like the cross. You can't cross like in Vegas. You can overlap two clips. Otherwise, if you overlap two clips, the one that you overlap, it's gonna be deleted. Basically, for example, I'm gonna show you. Let's say I'm gonna show you. See that this clip right here? Look what happens if I go over it with the one on the right. See? The one on the right basically deleted the one on the left. Anyway, okay, one important thing. These two buttons, STRL and Z, are to undo. STRL, Shift, and Z are to redo. And I just used them. I deleted this clip, a part of this clip, like this, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. STRL, Z, and I undid that thing. And I'm like, no, actually, I want that. STRL, Shift, Z, and I did it again. I can move back and forth. If you're using Photoshop, you actually do that with Photoshop as well. Then, zooming in, like for example, I don't know if you see here, there are black bars. To avoid those, you just use scales, and that's in effect controls. You might have them in different positions because I fixed my program the way I like it, but you can have them in different positions. Just put the program the way you like it and the way you're comfortable with. I have it right here. So to zoom in, you just use scale. Let's say that this is my picture and it has these and I don't want them. I just go wherever. This thing doesn't create keyframes at random. It just does when you tell it to. So I just want the scale, and I either type in the number that I want. For example, I want 103 because I probably know that that's gonna delete the bars. So I'm gonna just type in 103 and press enter, and that's gonna zoom in enough for the bars to go away. Or I can just press and drag to the right, and that's gonna zoom in. Or to the left if I want to zoom out. Okay. If I want to create a keyframe, I create the first one right here with this little watch thing right here, and that creates the first one. And then I move my cursor and move the zoom right here. And that creates my animation. That is not very visible because the clip is not great. But here, right here, you see it. There. That's zooming in. You can also rotate it if you want. Same process. There, right here. I don't like it, but in case you want it to rotate it and all. So same process. You can do as many as you want, and you can delete them all together. You just drag it and delete. What else? That's zooming in. You want to reduce the length of your clip, you just go right here, you wait until you get this, you click and you drag in and release. The effects, you just type them right here, you get it, you drag it onto the clip and release, and you set them. Because right now, for example, it's right here, brightness and contrast, but it's at 0. So you just set them. You need to press, you click, and you drag if you want to use it like that. Otherwise, you click and you type. Okay? Press, drag. You can toggle it on and off. Doesn't mean you delete them. In case you want to delete them, you just right click on it and clear. I'm just thinking. If you want, let's do it with this one, it's easier. Let's say that you get, let's say that you get a clip. So I got this clip, okay? I got this clip, let's make it smaller because this is huge. Okay, I got this clip and I have it, I decided that I want it with both video and audio, and then I changed my mind and I want only the video or only the audio, but I have them linked because you see I move them around together, they're linked. So to unlink them, you can either right click and unlink, or the hotkey way is STRL and L. So that is gonna basically, as you see, now they're both selected because they're linked. If you do STRL and L, the audio is gonna be unselected, and now they are independent from each other. You can move them. You can delete the audio if you want, in case you don't want it. And that's it. I'm gonna go back. Now they should be linked again. So basically that's the thing. I think that's it. I don't think there's much more to this thing that you actually use. You cut, you move around, you move them. To select multiple clips, let's say that you have one here, and you want one here. Okay. Let's say you want this and these two, but you can't. See? Oh no. You do this and shift. You select this, shift, shift, and these are left alone. With Alt, you click. Wait, you click on your clip, then you click Alt, and you drag it, and that creates a copy. What else? Instead, this is absolutely useless. So if you press STRL on your clip, it moves everything. It's basically useless. Whatever. It's like it creates a gap wherever you want it to be, but also it creates a gap in the song. Whatever. Totally useless. I mean, to us, it's basically useless. Something else? Anything else? You asked for cut part of the frame and zoom in. I told you. Marks. Marks, you put marks with M. Let's say that I want the mark right here where I am, M. Let's say that I want a mark right here, another M. Let's say that I want to delete them. Clear selected marker, or clear all markers, and you delete them. Also, when you want to move the the thing, the cursor on your timeline, you just do it always on this bar where the numbers are, never on this, because it doesn't move from here. You just select clips right here. You move it from here. I'm just laughing because you're like, this thing is exasperating. I was checking your message. What else? This bar right here on the clip here is the opacity. If you lower it, it's gonna lower the opacity of the clip. See? That's exactly how I generally do the crossovers, the fades. I do STRL on the opacity bar, and that creates a point, and then another STRL, and that creates another point. I release everything. Just with my mouse, I get this one point and I drag it down, and that creates a fade. Okay? And then if I want to overlap something, I just get the other clip. Let's see this one. I had them all selected. Good job. Let's see, I have this other clip, and I do the same thing right here and right here, and that creates a fade for me. Okay. A crossfade in this case. Otherwise, I put it here, and that creates a fade to black. If you want the velocity, you right click on this thing, show clip keyframes, timer mapping, speed. There's a faster way actually, which is basically we were in the opacity. You click this yellow, the FX square right here, and you get the opacity and the timer mapping. Timer mapping, speed. This one is like the velocity in Vegas. You create a point with STRL, creates this thing. You create another point with STRL, and you move it. You raise it. You can move this thing. You can open it so that it creates a longer momentum, so that this thing now, basically now it's, this thing is 100%, then it slowly rides till 205, so it's super fast, and then it slows down again to 100, and then you can, I don't know, for example right here I'm gonna make it slower because I feel like it. I don't know. And then right here it goes slower. Remember that your opacity stays in the clip right here. See? It's right here. And now we're fucked up. Anyway. Alright. So, the opacity stays even if you move the velocity. So, that could be tricky, but that's it. I often struggle with that myself. It's a shit. Okay. So, I think that's basically it. Madonna, che male. I think that's basically it. The effects, you can check them all out and have fun with them. There are colors. One thing. When you want to put a coloring on the whole project or a watermark on the whole project, you go to new item. For the coloring, it's adjustment layer. It creates this thing. You go, okay. It creates this thing. It's an item. You just drag it all over your project. Basically, it's like a transparent thing on which you put whatever effect you want. Let's say a brightness and contrast. You want to put brightness and contrast as a coloring. You just put whatever you want, and it affects in the same way everything that's under. So that's your coloring track, basically. Or if you want a watermark, same thing, right click, new item, title, same settings because they're the project settings, so okay. And it opens this window. You type in whatever you want. Jill. I don't know. You put it, you place it wherever you want. Like here you change your font. I don't know, let's put it this way. And you change your font size. You can place it wherever you want, like here, and you place it on top. You make it longer or shorter as long as you want, and it's right here. One thing, the opacity and the blend mode. This affects every single, or whatever. You can change the opacity and the blending mode of every single clip, not just the track. For example, actually this thing bothers me. Anyway, for example, I want this thing to fade into the one below, but I don't want it to fade normally. I want it to fade darker. So I'm just gonna go ahead and change the opacity and the blend mode of just this clip into darken. The one under, it's gonna still be normal. The one above, it's darken. Or, no, I want multiply, or I want color burn, or whatever you want. It's just gonna affect one clip in this case. You put it on whatever clip, it's gonna affect that specific item. If you put it on the text, it's gonna affect the whole text. If you put it on this clip, it's gonna affect this clip, this one, etc., etc. If you put it on the title, for example, and you want it to lighten, no, lighten doesn't do anything. If you want it to there, multiply, it's gonna become like that. See? Or what was that? The one that will blend a bit. I don't remember. Anyway, you can do you just try around, and maybe the linear burn. Maybe this one, yeah. That becomes black whenever there's gray around, and super white and yellow and all that. Anyway, and you can play around with that type of stuff. I think that's it. Cutting, selecting, zooming, saving. Well, that is save. STRLS to save. well, to export, you just go File, Export Media. Generally you need to have this thing pressed, because otherwise, if you have this one, you're not gonna be able to export anything. If you have this window selected or this window selected, you're gonna go to export and like, oh no, this one, yes, but this one, this window selected, see there's this blue circle around here, and you're gonna go and like, why doesn't this thing work? You just go and have the timeline selected, which is the safest option. Go export media, and here I just go with H264, which is basically an MP4. Match source at high bit rate, that way it's gonna basically have the highest quality, and the rest I'm just not gonna change anything, because my project, the project that I chose, had already the settings that I wanted, and I'm just gonna go export, and it's gonna export everything. Here you check wherever you want it, like PC, desktop, or whatever, and that's it. If I get something else, if I think about something else, I'm gonna make a video or text you, or I don't know. And if there's anything else, you can ask me. If tomorrow you need a video conference, tell me, and I'm gonna gladly help you. I swear to you, if you start with the basics like I'm showing you, and if you let me help you, trust me, it's easy. Trust me. Anyway, I think it's long, so you're gonna have fun watching it. And now I'm gonna go to bed, because it's basically 2:30 in the morning. So good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.